How's it going, YouTube? Navysooner here. So today we're going to be doing a review on this gun right here. There are some things I like, some things I don't like. So let's get into that review. Alright, so jumping into the review of this gun is the Sig Sauer MCX Virtus. So you're probably thinking, that's a black gun, not a gray one or an FDE one like most Virtuses are. And I will tell you about that later. But this is the Virtus. So we're going to start off with the barrel. This is a 5.56 16-inch cold hammer forged barrel with a 1-in-7 twist. It comes with a 3-prong flash hider on it. It is a short stroke gas piston system, so it's not what you think of most ARs, because this isn't an AR obviously, but it takes from AR platform heavily. A lot of things in it are AR style. You've got a 2-position adjustable gas block right here. You have a side folding stock, and it is adjustable for length of pull right there. So what I was talking about is it usually comes in FTE or gray, but this one was special ordered through AAFES, the Army Air Force exchange system, which offers a black option. SIG offers a black option if you order through AAFES for military people. So most likely, if you're going to find this, you're going to find it in gray or FDE. And it also comes with backup iron sights right here. And yeah, so let's get into things that I like about this gun. It's a different design in an oversaturated market. There's a ton of ARs out there, and don't get me wrong, I love ARs and I've done mostly AR reviews, but in an oversaturated market, it's awesome to see something completely different. Not completely different, but different. It goes off of the AR design a little bit, as in the takedown system is the same with the pins here. Your bolt release and your safety are the same. The early SIG MCXs, you could use AR triggers, I believe you could in the early one, but not anymore. You have dust cover, and it's got the same, well, not same mag release, but same style, and it's got ambi mag release, which is nice. And you can change out the grip for any AR grip out there. It borrows heavily from the AR-15 platform. Something else I like about it is SIG had some issues with their first MCXs, and they went in and they changed those. They fixed that. One of the problems with it was the bolt carrier springs in it. They were having a problem with the springs getting all mashed up and making the gun unusable. What was it? One of the ones that I really know about is Nothing Fancy. His completely messed up, and so they changed it to where it's a metal back piece and it's pinned. And I might pull that out here in a second to show you. Actually, let me just go ahead and do that. All right, so I have the bolt carrier and the recoil spring system out of the gun, and you see here, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but there's a this piece right here is metal now. It used to be plastic in the originals. There's a pin that is driven through here instead of you could remove that pin before. This one you have to punch it out, and that is going to keep the spring system in there and not mess up like it has on other people's firearms. The bolt carrier stays attached to the spring system, but you can easily remove the bolt the same way that you would remove an AR bolt. But you got to pull out the firing pin here, and there is a latch keeping the firing pin in there. So if you want to be able to take the firing pin out, you got to pull that latch and you got to pop. There's a captive pin right here that you have to pop out, and then you pull up on that tab right there, and then you can take your firing pin out. Then you remove your bolt, which is pretty dang close to an AR bolt, an AR-15 bolt. You can push it back, turn the knob, and you can pull the bolt out. So that is this system. Besides the recoil springs in it, they changed out the barrels in the gas system. So it was always the short stroke gas piston system, but the pistons were a different size, and they changed that out for to be able to make it cycle better. Another thing that I like about this gun with the rail is if you change out the barrel for the 300 blackout barrel, the gas system goes further back. So they have the cutouts on the rail here on both sides, so you can adjust the gas block there. The bolt and bolt carrier in it, I don't think they changed out the bolt, but they changed out the bolt carrier, the way that it is attached to the recoil spring system. It doesn't completely come off like the old one, but it's still you can work on it just as easily. They did that for a reason that I don't know of, but apparently they were having issues. The rail system originally was in key mod. This one is in M-LOK, obviously. They extended the rail system on the 16-inch guns. I think you can still get the shorter system with M-LOK if you really wanted to, but I like it going all the way out there. And then the stock, people weren't liking the stocks, like the wire stock that was on them originally, which I don't really blame them. Another thing that I like about this gun, this thing is very accurate. It shoots just under 1-inch groups at 100 yards with PPU 223 69 grain match ammunition and this 1:6 scope from Primary Arms. So if I had a better a better magnification scope and I had better ammunition, the PPU 223 match ammunition is good ammunition, but it's not like the best. For the price, it's amazing and I love it, and that's what I have all my guns zeroed at. But if I had better ammunition, I'm sure this thing would shoot much smaller groups than what I was getting with it. Also, another thing that I like about it is it comes with these iron sights standard. That's awesome that it comes with the iron sight standard. I prefer fixed front iron sight, but that's not a big deal. And then another thing that I like about the iron sights that it came with is you can adjust the front, the height based on this knob right here. You don't have to have a tool for it, so that's pretty nice. What I dislike about this gun, it's heavy. It's really heavy. Most piston systems are heavy, but this rail makes it pretty heavy, and the receiver itself is pretty heavy. The scope on it makes it even worse, but even without the scope on it, it's still a fairly heavy rifle. So that's one of the cons of it. Another one is the folding lock. So I've figured out the folding lock no problem. But the problem is to unlock it, it's fairly easy and you don't really need like speed to do that. But to get it from the folded position, you have to be able to pull it out of a groove to be able to move it over. Now, if you're in a hurry and you're just messing with it and you're in a hurry and you're trying to get that out, that can become an issue. Now, granted, you can shoot this without the stock out, no problem, because there's not a buffer system in there like in regular ARs, but I can still see it being an issue. A thing that I don't like about the stock is the comb height. Granted, I could change the scope out, I could change out a red dot or whatever, but with some scopes, it's the comb height. It's really hard to get the right comb height with this for some scopes. And when I bring it up quick, I get black. So that could also, I mean, that's a training issue as well. So it could not be a dislike if I just trained more on it, but for me right now it is a dislike. So I just don't like the comb height on this. You can go in and change out, there's like a 1913 style rail back here that you can change out this the stocks, and you can go back to the old wire stock if you wanted to, or you can go with like the like an AR tube, a buffer tube on there, and you can use regular AR stocks on there if you would like, and that would remedy it. Another dislike that I don't like about this gun is look how fat this rail is. Don't have an issue with that. It's kind of, I mean, you're gonna have that with this firearm for reasons, but you have M-LOK rails here, M-LOK rails here, and M-LOK rails here. With how much space is on this, you could easily, very, very easily make more M-LOK cutouts for placing accessories in other spots that you'd rather put them. That may be a little bit overkill for some, and some may think, I don't care, not a big deal. But look how much space is here. They could have done that easily and still saved weight. I mean, it's not that big of a, wouldn't be that hard. So that's another one of the dislikes. Another thing that I don't like about this, so it's got a new 2-stage trigger in it, but like the first stage is kind of gritty, very gritty, and then the second stage is heavy. It's really, really heavy. Yeah, it's just heavy. The first stage, I don't know, I don't know how to explain it without y'all having to use it. I guess I might just have really bad luck with triggers, because if you remember back in my Daniel Defense M4 V7, I didn't like that trigger at all. And I'm getting comments on that video saying, oh, it's a great, I've got a great trigger. And actually I've only had a couple saying, oh, I've got a great trigger. Well, $1,600 gun, they should all have great triggers. And I know that on the internet that people are complaining about the Daniel Defense triggers. So yeah, this needs a little help. You can go and buy a Geisley trigger for this, but they're like $350. I was hoping that on Black Friday that they would lower that trigger price for this, but they didn't. I mean, there's a reason that they're so expensive, because they don't make as many, because there's not as many of these floating out there. But it'd still be nice if they came down on the price. And yeah, this trigger is not cool. So for a $1,900 gun, yes, $1,900 gun, it needs help. It's good, don't get me wrong, it's a good gun. But for the price, again, it needs help. And that's where I'm leaving this review at. So some of y'all may not like that I'm not 100% on board with this gun. I like it, but it's just not for me. If you want a piston system, this is a great gun. But you can also go with like LWRC, LMT, stuff like that. And you could probably go for cheaper than what you're getting here. But there are really good features on this rifle, and I think that Sig didn't hit a home run, they hit a triple. And they're sitting on third base just waiting for someone to knock them in. So maybe on like the next iteration they can change a couple of things about it. So some of the cool features that come with it also is you get an ambidextrous charging handle, which is something that I gave Daniel Defense a hit on, but Daniel Defense changed out their charging handles. You have an ambidextrous safety here, which I talked about earlier. You have ambidextrous magazine release. You have a bolt release here that's got like a little extra piece for you to hit when you're trying to get the bolt to lock back. Then this piece right here you can remove and replace it, where the forward assist and the shell deflector is. And there's a piece right here that has, in most ARs, there's a lot of wear right on the inside here, so you can unscrew that and change that out. Changing out the barrel is real easy on these. It's just a couple of screws and you unscrew them and you torque them back down when you get the new barrel and gas system into it. It's real easy, and changing the handguard is real easy. You'd simply just take the upper off of it and you can pull the handguard right off. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, that's this gun. It's a good gun, but it has issues that can be fixed, especially for a $1,900 gun. Navysooner out.